Listen up, sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest new European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the table. Sign up at BetUS.com today to get into the action. BetUS, where the game begins.
I'm sorry I'm a little late today, y'all. I apologize. Trying to get everything straightened up here, but we are here and we are live for an epic last night of events. It's the Darion Hopkins Show. And finally we got, let me just switch this because I know I'm going to be in the middle real quick. If Book could come on, I don't know what's going on with him, but Darion Hopkins Show is definitely in the building. Another episode of the show. Trying to refix my camera because I tried to do some rearranging around here and I just couldn't do it. But what's up, Mac? What's going on with you? Good afternoon. How are you today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Been a busy morning for me.
It's been a busy morning, but a lot of things, went down last night and everything.
Man.
But before we get into all of that, of course, I got to do everything. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DhopkinsShow.
Good.
What's up, bud? What's going on?
It's good.
What's going on? So, just to let you know, like I said, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DhopkinsShow. Make sure you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, not Apple Music, but Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. And make sure y'all go to SeatGeek.com and get $20 off your first purchase using the promo code DHopkins, ladies and gentlemen. What a turn of events that happened yesterday in the NBA world. What a turn of events. So for me, Mac, because I know that's going to be the first thing that we talk about today, brother, how are you feeling about this move of this trade? But let's break down the trade in itself. Because Adrian Wojnarowski was tweeting after tweet after tweet after tweet, and I was getting mad notifications for it. So let's break this down. I got to go all the way through the bottom of the tweets here, because remember, the trade was initially for Porzingis going to Boston Celtics, which that still happened, but it was supposed to be with Milwaukee's, with Brogdon, and it was another team that was in it, if I'm not mistaken.
It was still the Wizards. The Clippers just dropped out.
Yeah, the Clippers dropped out, but the Clippers dropped out because of Brogdon's injury.
Yeah.
So that's why that trade was not finalized. Then the trade was back on at like 12 o'clock at night last night. So when it came down to it, they said the Celtics are working the trade to acquire the Wizards' Kristaps Porzingis, and it was a 3-team deal that says Malcolm Brogdon to the Clippers, but that did not go through. So let's get to that. So the Wizards was still working on ways to get Porzingis to the Celtics and opt into the trade scenario, but it won't be a 3-way with the Clippers, sources tell ESPN. Then Porzingis still have the ability to decline a $36 million player option and becomes a free agent. Then it comes to Zaza working on a deal under a midnight Eastern deadline on Porzingis with the $36 million option. Then it comes out, breaking news, boom, here comes the bomb. Boston Celtics finalize a deal to get Porzingis to the Boston Celtics, and he'll be opting into his $36 million contract through 2023 and 2024, getting his trade to the Boston Celtics. Then Washington completing a 3-way deal with Boston and the Memphis Grizzlies that would send guard Tyrese Jones to the Wizards. And the Celtics are trading Marcus Smart to send Marcus Smart to the Memphis Grizzlies. Then it comes that the Grizzlies have been searching for a tough-minded, playoff-tested veteran for a young roster that landed Marcus Smart there. Then it says the Grizzlies are sending a 2023 and a 2024 first-round picks to the Boston Celtics. Sources tell ESPN, and the Grizzlies are sending number 25, the number 25th pick in today's NBA draft, and a 2024 pick via Golden State for Marcus Smart. So technically, Grizzlies sending a 2023 and 2024 first round picks, and they're sending the number 25th overall pick in this year's draft for Marcus Smart. Then it gets even more crazier. Gallinari and Muscala are in the deal to go to the Wizards in this trade. So you got Tyrus Jones, Gallinari, and Muscala all going to the Washington Wizards. The Grizzlies get Marcus Smart, and the Boston Celtics get Porzingis. All that happened in a because I was up at 12 o'clock. So all this happened within a 30-minute radius between 12 and 12:30 at night. What is your thoughts, Mac, of how this shit went down, bro? How like this is just crazy to me. I want to hear your thoughts because I know you like the Wizards. The Wizards is your hometown, but you like the Boston Celtics as well. So
No,
shall I give you the floor?
I'm tired of seeing like the Wizards gave away more than they got again. If
How?
we're build, we need picks. We don't need players. We need picks. We need picks for the future. We have no picks. You know what I'm saying? Like we are not stocked up in picks. That's something that we need to do. That's what a rebuilding franchise has to do. Is you have to get picks for the players. We gave up the best player on our team in Porzingis and got 3 mediocre role players. Like, yes, Jones has an upside.
And adding it's surprisingly CP3 there.
Come on, man. Gallinari ain't been good in at least 2 or 3 seasons. Let's keep it real. Muscala has only shown flashes of shit. Same thing with Jones. Jones has had times where he's played really good, and he can. But when it comes down to it, like, how are you rebuilding a team with no draft picks?
I mean, when it comes to Jones, like I said, he played really well for Memphis when Ja was out. They had a winning record. They won like 30 games with Tyrus Jones, without Ja Morant being there. So he know how to win basketball games.
I mean, but this isn't
I like Muscala. I think Muscala doesn't get enough. He didn't get enough burn in Boston for me. As a shooter, he didn't get enough burn. Gallinari, I'm not too impressed with Gallinari. But Memphis gave up more to me than Washington did. Washington just got rid of Porzingis, which is your best player. I understand. But you give up Tyrus Jones and 3 draft picks to go get a Marcus Smart with no Ja Morant. That's tough. And you lose your backup guard to Ja Morant and Tyrus Jones. So I think the Memphis. Okay, outside of you being pissed about the Washington Wizards, right? How you feel about Boston now having Porzingis on this team?
Boston won this trade. How Boston keeps pulling off trades like this where they not only get the best player and they get the picks, and the only thing they gave up was Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying? Like the picks should have came to the Wizards. You like Boston got Porzingis. That was the best player. That's the best thing in this whole trade. Okay. The second best thing, Marcus Smart was the second best. And then it's all those picks. Okay. And after the picks, then it comes Jones and Muscala and Gallinari. So it's like literally like Boston. I don't understand why any team would want to pull this trade off with Boston. I'm sorry. Like I wouldn't want to pull any trade with Boston to make Boston better. Nah.
I get it. I get it. But I want to hear from Bug now because I think
I mean, okay.
It made Mac take off his hat, man. It made Mac take
So,
off his hat for real. So, what's your thoughts, bro, on this trade?
so first, when Matt talked about giving up Porzingis, of course, he's the best player on their team. But besides that, they give up a healthy Porzingis. It's Porzingis' first time last season and playing 60 games in the last 6 years. Last season was his first time playing over 60 games in the last 6 years. So not only do you give up a Porzingis, you give up a healthy Porzingis at that. And you team him with Robert Williams, Al Horford. So I think that's great for the Celtics. So you see Missoula pull out that two big man rotation last year in the playoffs. So they can definitely run some of that now. As far as Smart, I feel like that was a good pickup for them. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that was great for them. People forget. It's crazy. I had a stat about Boston. Boston was they led the league in rebounds, offensive rebounds, steals, blocks, points in the paint, and second chance points. So when you add somebody like Marcus Smart to a team like that, like that's great.
I get it. But John Morant's gonna be out for 25 games.
Yeah,
Tyrese Jones is traded. You don't have a ball handler in Memphis now. You don't.
I mean, we done seen Marcus Smart can do it. You done
Marcus
seen
Smart is not a point guard, bro. He's not a point guard. You cannot rely on him to push the ball up 90% of the game. You just can't.
Did we not see the Grizzlies going
playoffs?
And I get that, but what was the lack of everything? Me and Mac had these talks on the show. I said, what was the Boston Celtics missing in their starting five? Was a facilitator, right or wrong?
Yeah. I mean,
John Morant's out for 25 games. Tyrese Jones was a facilitator, and you don't have that with Memphis. You don't.
I mean, Bane did
until
all right.
Ja comes back.
Bane did all right. Bane did all right. Bane did all right. He did a lot of bringing the ball down. He didn't do bad. But I
don't think Desmond Bane is a facilitator, bro. I don't think you could ask Desmond Bane for 25 games to give you at least 7 assists per game. You can't.
I mean, but with Marcus Smart on the court, it just gives them that extra. They got Bane now. They got Marcus Smart. He can bring the ball down. He has brought the ball down for Boston.
But are you going to put him in position at the point guard position to do that every single night? No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not.
Marcus Smart is a starting point guard.
I can't say Marcus Smart can give me 8 assists per game in the 82 game season. He just can't.
He could give you. He might not give you 7 or 8, but he might give you 6 assists. He might give you 12 points. He might give you 3 steals and let's say 4 rebounds.
Now, I like the fact that Marcus Smart and his toughness in the way that he plays the game. I agree, but that's why Boston could not get over the hump, because they didn't have no true facilitator. Now you don't have a true facilitator for 25 games. I think Memphis is going to struggle. They're going to struggle for 25 games because they don't have no actual facilitator to help out. So you put Marcus Smart there to play the point guard for 25 games. That's just not his game. To me, that's just not his game.
I mean, but what was he doing for Boston?
Yeah, he was doing that for Boston, but look how they lost though. We've been talking about what was the Boston need for them to get over the hump. They needed a guard.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the whole thing. They didn't play traditional. You had 2 guys on the court almost every single time, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum playing the same exact position, playing the same role.
But they not point guard ball handlers. They not facilitators. They just
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you would sit there and you would have them 2 guys run the same shit. You have 2 guys on the court doing the same exact things. Like, who's setting the pick? Neither one of them. So you got 2 guys that's not going to set a pick, that's not going to sit here and try to run it every single time, that are not going to get, every time on offense, they're not going to make their man run, chase them. They're not just getting good spacing. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between Boston and what Memphis is going to do. Because you got to think, Memphis, is Steven Adams going to come back healthy? What about the other big man? Like that's what I'm saying. Like you're giving Brown more options here than working with a Horford. Like I'm saying, Horford's not running the court anymore. You know what I mean? Like now you're putting him with a Memphis team that can hustle. And I feel like, dude, Marcus Smart's going to thrive with them young guys.
Yeah,
he's going to. I think the first 25 games of the year, the Memphis Grizzlies will struggle because they don't have a point guard. They don't have a point guard. And I think, don't get me wrong, Marcus Smart is a playmaker. Don't get me wrong. He can be a playmaker, but he's a playmaker from off the wing. He's a playmaker from setting picks. A lot of point guards don't really like to set picks because it doesn't really benefit them as much. It really benefits the big man setting the pick and rolling when it comes to the game. I don't think Marcus Smart wants to be in that situation where he wants to come in and play point guard. That's just me. So losing Tyrus Jones is big for the Memphis Grizzlies because they won with him. That's a big loss. I'm sorry.
I feel like he already knows that. Like, as soon as he seen he was going there, he knows Ja out 25 games. He already knows what his role is going. I think he knows that. I think it's going to be good. I get him 10 out of the 25. I think they win at least 10 of the 25, if not more.
But I think with Tyrus Jones, they win more. But they win more. If you would have able to keep Tyrus Jones and get Marcus Smart, that would have been a different story. We would be having a different talk right now.
But when they were playing, when Ja was out the first time, Tyrus wasn't starting, and neither was he bringing the ball down. Bane was doing it.
Starting. He was 34 and 50. He's 34 and 15 without Ja Morant, and Tyrus Jones was the starter.
And Bane was bringing the ball down. Bane was bringing the ball
because
down.
Bane is a scorer. Of course, he's going to bring the ball down in fast break situations. But
so you're not going to tell me if Bane is
get Desmond Bane going without the basketball. You don't have a point guard right now to have Desmond Bane get the ball in them corner threes. Who's going to throw? Who's going to pass him the ball in them corner threes?
So you're telling me that Marcus Smart is like what?
Thank you. He's the best backup point guard in the league. He is. It's a fact. Tyrus Jones is the best backup point guard in the league. Not shooting guard, not small forward, not center.
I'm taking Marcus Smart over. I'm taking Marcus Smart over Tyrus Jones.
I'm not in no point guard position.
At the point guard.
Not at the position.
Yeah.
Not at the position. I'm sorry, but he fits. To me, he fits with Tyrus Jones fit with Ja Morant and Desmond Bane than Marcus Smart does. Marcus Smart, I'm not saying nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the trade. I think they got a great player in Marcus Smart. But what I'm saying is, I'm telling you, Memphis will not get deep in the playoffs without a point guard. Simple as that. They won't.
I mean, but Ja's only out 25 games.
That 25 games hopefully that 25 games probably going to be crucial because 25 games through is almost a half a season, damn near.
They're gonna win. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be all right.
They're gonna be all right, but is it going to be a number 2 seed again? I doubt it.
So you think Tyrus Jones and Marcus Smart replacing him? Well, maybe you're considering the Ja Morant fact, the 25 games. But let's say when Ja comes back, you don't see Marcus Smart being a better fit than Tyrus in that?
I don't think, as of right now, if you look at the Western Conference and how the Western Conference is building, the Grizzlies could be a 6 or 7 seed going into the first 25 games. They could be a 6 or 7 seed in the first 25 games. Because you don't know if Steven Adams and Brandon Clark, is they going to be 100% by next season? Are they going to play the first 10 games due to their injury prones? So you got to look at it from that aspect too. But I think when you lack a point guard in the NBA, when you lack a true point guard in the NBA, then you're going to struggle.
I can't even let you. I can't even let you do him like that. I feel like you kind of like, you discredited him when you saying a true point guard, and this man has led his team at that position 2 years in a row.
They had not won nothing. They had not won nothing with him.
But he's been at that position, and he's been leading. Even in that series, you watched that series just like me that we just played them in. He was that person that was really turning that on for them when they needed it. He was that. But
they could not get over the hump because the guard outplayed their guard.
But see, you gonna keep saying that?
They lost because Tatum and Brown was fucking.
Thank you. Why are we forgetting that?
They did not lose because of Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart had more heart in that motherfucker than any of them on the Boston.
Why are we not forgetting 2 games? Tatum going scoreless in the fourth quarter.
I was never a big fan of Marcus Smart, but he did become. He's a very tough defender. He does flop a lot. But if you talk about a point guard that's going to lead you to a championship, I don't think Marcus Smart can do that with Memphis with the less that he has. I just don't think so.
But he doesn't have to do. He doesn't have to lead them. He just have to do it enough to when Ja comes back. He just have to just hold it down to Ja.
Listen, y'all. All I'm saying is this: it's going to look like the Boston Celtics with no guard. It's been a position need for Boston for years now. That you need a point guard. You need a facilitator because when you have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum bringing the ball up, they're not facilitators. All they're going to do is pick and roll and shoot the three. They're not ball handlers.
Even when I was listening to Locked On Celtics earlier, even they are saying they're not clearing it out because they need a guard. They're trying to Brogdon or Smart had to go because they're trying to make more room for Brown and Tatum. Like, that's point blank period. Everybody knows that basically them two on the floor is kind of not going to work. That's why it's speculation of even Jaylen Brown getting traded because them two on the floor. So you telling me that Marcus Smart is the best ball handler on the Memphis Grizzlies as of right now? Is what you're saying to me? On right now, yeah. As of right now, without John Morant on the floor, yeah.
I mean, Bane, you could kind of make a case for it, but anybody else, no. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad trade. I just feel like Tyrus Jones meant more to the Memphis Grizzlies than Marcus Smart at that position. I'm not saying as far as the overall game. At the point guard position, Tyrus Jones was more important to the Memphis Grizzlies than Marcus Smart at the point guard position.
And then, and since we're talking Tyrus Jones, then you have to think about this. What is everybody knows what Marcus Smart brings to a team, and that's defense. You think Tyrus Jones is guarding anybody how Marcus Smart is guarding anybody? No. So, okay, Tyrus Jones might be give you that little bit of more production on the offense, but he's going to give you anywhere as much of production on defense as Marcus Smart's going to give you.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Definitely.
I'm just saying that the record doesn't lie when John Morant is off the floor and Tyrus Jones was in. The record doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. He's a winner. He's a winner. So if we want to keep that same energy for Marcus Smart, keep the same energy for Tyrus Jones. Simple as that.
What did they win in the playoffs? Nothing. He's not a winner.
They won the playoffs with an injured John Morant.
Okay, and
he injured John Morant, but at the same time, Tyrus Jones in the 22 games that he played, he was averaging 17 in the 22 games that he played.
Okay, but what did he do in the playoffs?
What can you do? What can you do in the playoffs when you don't have a healthy John Morant and Desmond Bane is playing up? I mean, he played all right.
All I'm saying is,
I did not expect the Memphis Grizzlies to beat the Lakers in that first round. I did not expect that. Come on.
You put Marcus Smart in that same position, he will.
They still lose to the Lakers. They still lose to the Lakers.
No.
They still lose to the Lakers because of the point guard ability. That's why. The point guard ability. That's just me. I'm sorry.
I mean, listen.
I like the resume of Marcus Smart, but as a ball handler, he's not a great ball handler. That's just my opinion. He's just not a great ball handler.
But he's good enough.
He's not good enough. I think he's one of the. I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's the top 10 ball handler in his league.
When you're talking point guard, you're talking more than just dribbling the ball. You have to be a playmaker. You have to be a defender. You have to be all those things, correct?
Yeah, but you got to be pass first, shoot second.
Who can Tyrus Jones guard?
Yes, Tyrus Jones can guard. Yes, he can.
Who can he guard?
Yes, absolutely.
He can guard a Josh Giddey. No, he can't even guard him.
Y'all making Josh Giddey like he a top 15 player in his league.
But
Josh Giddey is a top 30 player. Not even a top 30
I'm giving him leeway. Can he guard Jalen Brunson?
No.
No, he would get cooked.
No.
He was getting cooked. You can say that about anybody on them. Okay, if that's the case,
can Marcus Smart guard
Miami that he cooked?
Can Marcus Smart guard
everybody on Miami and still lost? He cooked everybody on Miami and still lost. So what are we saying?
I mean,
what are we saying?
Somebody show up with him. Maybe we're talking different story.
What are we saying? Gabe Vince is an undrafted free agent, and he was getting cooked by Jalen Brunson. What are we talking about?
Okay, but again,
he was literally by himself. The point is,
Max Strus couldn't defend him. Nobody could not defend Jalen Brunson in that series. Come on.
But Marcus,
let's keep it real.
I'm just saying, is it not already like tried to and tested that Marcus Smart can guard Jalen Brunson? Can he not guard him?
The problem that
is
I have with Marcus Smart is the worst actor when it comes to flopping. That's my problem with Marcus Smart. If you watch Marcus Smart at Oklahoma State when he came out of the NBA, he was the most flopper in the NCAA basketball that season. came in and being a flopper on the defensive side of the ball.
I would just and Nasir just even just prove I was just proving the point when I said the Giddy thing. If he can't even guard what you said is not even a top 30 player in Josh Giddey, like that doesn't make sense. When you talk about Marcus Smart, one of the top 5 defenders in the league, period.
He could be a top 5 defender to y'all, but he's definitely not a top 5 defender to me.
What?
He's not. He's
Who's
number 6.
better? Who's better?
He won Defensive Player of the Year with the most flops in the NBA. I'm sorry, that's not great defense to me. It's not. It's not great defense to me.
That has nothing to do with defense, though. Like, I mean,
When you're flopping, that has to do a lot with defense.
But he gets steals. He plays defense.
When you have to sell the foul, yes, you do. You're not playing great defense when you have to sell the foul.
Listen. James Harden was shooting free throws all year. You can't take a scoring title from him. But it don't matter.
Who cares about James Harden anyway? James Harden's not even in the same breath right now. Please. He's not even in the same breath of people with these trades. Stop that.
What?
Stop that. He's not in the same. If you want to talk about James Harden, you want to talk about defense. We're not going to talk about James Harden because James Harden's defense is not even in the same fucking vocabulary. Please.
Hey, listen.
It's not.
You know, Tyrus Jones is like minuscule compared to James Harden. Minuscule, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even.
Yeah, on the offensive side, but let James Harden play defense. The laziest defensive guard in the league.
He probably play more defense than Tyrus Jones.
No, you don't. Tyrus Jones play better defense than James Harden. Please, we not gonna have that conversation.
Have you seen him guard?
We're
Who
not.
can he guard?
This is the same guy that said. I'm not gonna even get into you, bro. I'm not gonna.
Who can he guard?
When you can bring up James Harden defensive team accolades, then we could talk.
Give me some AI defensive team accolades.
He doesn't have that.
Give me some AI defensive team accolades.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying in every category when it comes to putting Marcus Smart versus Jones. Marcus Smart is better in every category. And I'm not just saying this as a Boston fan. I mean, literally, I watch it with my eyes.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's just not a great ball handler. That's all I'm saying about Marcus Smart. I don't think he's a great ball handler.
But
for this squad, I don't think so.
I mean, he doesn't really have to be. As long as he can facilitate and score and play really lights out defense. And elevate the play of the young guys that he's going to be playing with. That's what they brought him there for.
And that's why I'm just tripping.
All they brought him there for is to elevate and help. He's going to play help defense.
So my question is this: if the Memphis Grizzlies are not a top 5 team by the time John Morant comes back, what does that tell you?
I mean, what
does that tell you?
So what I'm saying is, okay, if Marcus Smart hits double-digit points, has around 7 to 8 assists per game, with more than 5 rebounds and more than 2 steals a game, and that's what he averages. Did whether or not what the record says, did Marcus Smart come in and do his job?
Absolutely.
At the same time, yes. At the same time, yes. But only for me, I'm gonna just say this for me. If you're averaging that much and you have a losing record, it doesn't mean shit to me. I don't care. I don't care if you score all these points and you have a losing record. I don't live by that. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying. So you're telling me
I don't live by that.
Can't go there and play smart basketball.
He can play smart basketball. If they losing, then what are you supposed to do if they losing?
Look, the whole
argument. He's not a point guard. He's not a ball handler.
I don't think he's a point guard. I just don't think that he's a point guard in my opinion. I don't think he could come in and just go and play point guard on a team that needs a point guard.
D-Hop, I just feel like that's just crazy when we just watched the series against them, bro. Yeah. Like that's just crazy to say.
Listen,
even when Tatum wasn't showing up, and Brown was shooting 2 shots in the second half. That's Marcus Smart out there throwing lobs to Robert Williams and hitting Al Horford in the corner. That's him out there.
If that's the case, then just because Jalen, if that's the case, then why they didn't win because of Jalen Brown and Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum?
I mean,
I thought it was
did
a
Tatum
5-on-5
not
game, not a
choke?
2-on-5 game.
But did Tatum not choke? Is he not they scorer on the team? Is that not one of his jobs? Did Brown not all the way show up? Is that not their job on the team? Did he not show up and do his job? He played defense and he passed the ball, brought the ball down the court. He did his job. They didn't show up and do theirs.
The guard play of the Miami Heat outplayed the guard play.
It's 5 people on the team.
There's no, and why
you
you
need
think
everybody to show up and do their role.
Celtics talk about getting Chris Paul? Why you think everybody talk about Boston Celtics getting a facilitator, even when Marcus Smart is there? Why everybody is talking about they need a point guard there? Even before Marcus Smart got traded, because they need a facilitator. They've been saying it. Everybody's been saying it.
All I know is the man did a job the last 2 years, man. You can't I'm
not saying that he didn't. I'm just saying that he's not a point guard.
But that was his role on the team.
He did not play an actual point guard role in that in Boston's system. Look at Boston's system, though. That is one fucked up ass system that they've come up with because they have multiple players that play the same damn role and they're trying to facilitate them in the same offense. That's why it looks funny. But if you put Marcus Smart with a traditional offense, I think you're gonna like what you see.
I don't think they win 20 games out of the 25 games Ja Morant misses. They win 7. They win 7 out of the 25.
But I you know what? I can almost guarantee that if everybody's healthy, they'll win at least 15.
I doubt that.
Yeah, they'll definitely go 15 and 10 for Ja. For sure. For sure. If everybody's
15
healthy.
and 10 against a Tyrus Jones that went 35 and 14? Come on.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you keep saying that Tyrus Jones that had a hell of a support cast. They had a Jared Jackson that was fucking balling. They had a Desmond Bain.
They had a better winning record everybody talked about it. Without Ja Morant on the floor, they played better. A lot of people said that, not me.
Okay.
Not me.
So take, just like you said, take that and replace Tyrus Jones with an even better Marcus Smart. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, bro. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
Yo, I'm not tripping. What I'm saying is he's not a point guard. Only way he's gonna toughen these guys up. That's what Marcus Smart is good for. He's good for his hustle. He's good for his defense, quote unquote. But that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, I think Marcus Smart is a good player. I think he's a good player. But do I put him in a top 10 players on this list? On a list? No, I do not. I do not put Marcus Smart in the top 10 players in the league. I just don't. He's a top 20 player at number 17 or 18, but I don't put him in no top 10 players in the league. I just don't.
You don't think he's a top 10 point guard right now?
He's not a point guard. That's the thing. I'm not gonna put him in a top 10 point guard when he's not a point guard. He's not his position. If you look up Marcus Smart right now, his position doesn't say PG on the next to it.
I got a question for you, D-Hop. So Malcolm Brogdon plays what position?
Point guard.
He can play Malcolm Brogdon back?
He can play the point and he can shoot.
Who was Malcolm Brogdon backing up? Marcus Smart. Correct.
Of course, you're going to put Marcus. Of course, you're going to keep Marcus Smart in there because he's under.
Even if we just want to literally talk the game, he's bringing the ball down. He's setting the offense.
Before Malcolm Brogdon got there, Malcolm Brogdon was a starter in this league before he got to Boston. Let's be real.
But did he start?
He's not going to. Let me tell you why he's not going to start over on Marcus Smart, because the continuity is there. The continuity with Boston was there. He knows Al Horford. He knows Jalen Brown. He knows Jason Tatum as starters. And of course, if y'all say defensively, you're not gonna bench Marcus Smart defensively over a Malcolm Brogdon.
You keep saying defensively, huh? You keep saying that like that. Like, what's going on? Like, is Marcus Smart not a defensive dog?
He's all right. He's good. He's good. He's a good defensive player. He's good. That's all I'm saying.
This man matched up with Embiid in the paint and kept Embiid from scoring. The man
Embiid
matched
still
up
came,
with James
Embiid still
Harden
came out with
on offense and kept him
double-digit
from
points.
scoring
He still
multiple
averaged
times.
25 in that series with Marcus Smart defending. He still averaged 25 in that series.
I'm just saying, like, Marcus Smart has times where he can defend anybody on the court. Anybody, no matter how big, how small, how fast, he's done all that, and he's done it continuously.
I mean, he's a good defender. I'm not saying that he's a bad defender. I'm not saying that he's a scrub.
But
I'm not saying he's a bad defender like James Harden. I'm not saying that. He's a good defender. He won Defensive Player of the Year, something James Harden never did in his career. It's a difference. It's a level.
Peace.
Did AI ever win a defensive player of the year?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. I'm just saying that Marcus Smart is a good defensive player.
Did AI ever win
I just
defensive player of the year?
With Marcus Smart there, I don't want to hear championship contender. I don't want to hear that yet.
Okay, so
that's what everybody's been talking about.
Okay, so I don't want to hear.
You add Marcus Smart to the Memphis Grizzlies. Are they contenders in the West? If you look at the Eastern Conference, bro, if you look at the Eastern Conference, which players are tougher, the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference to defend?
Bro, all I'm saying is when you have that argument and you say, I don't want to hear about him going to the finals and losing and all that, do you have to say the same thing when you say, oh, Tyus Jones did that, he did all that, and they still lost?
When it comes to a valuable player for the Memphis Grizzlies.
What I'm saying
is Tyrus Jones was a valuable player. All I was trying to say is this. All I was trying to say is if they would have kept Tyrus Jones and kept Marcus Smart, this team would probably be better. They good right now. But I think they'll be a little bit better because now you have a facilitator, you have a ball handler. I don't think Marcus Smart is a point guard at the position. I never said he was a bad player. I never said he was a bum. I never said that he was a scrub. What I'm saying to you is I think now Memphis is going to miss what Boston's been missing, and that is a point guard. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
That's why I feel like they picked him up. Your whole thing was you said he can't give you how many assists a game? You said 6, right?
I don't think he can give you 8 to 10 assists a game. I don't think he can do that on an 82-game season. I just don't think so.
Okay, so the last 2 seasons he's averaged between 8 and 6.7 assists as far as.
Thank you. I knew I couldn't get. I don't got my computer, Matt. But it's I
just pulled it up.
Okay, that's fine.
And Jones.
This is the reason why Boston has not won a championship, and everybody in the world has been saying it. Boston has not won a championship because they don't have a true facilitator.
No, they was definitely
a true facilitator. It's a fact. It's a fact. I've been watching it all. I've been watching it all year. They said, what is holding Boston back?
Like saying Missoula had nothing to do with their losses. That's like saying Missoula because he didn't call timeouts. He didn't.
Thank you. Somebody come and just said it.
Marcus Smart it was all on Marcus Smart. It wasn't. He had Jason Tatum. He had Jaylen Brown. They had Derek White. They had Malcolm Brogdon. Like they had Al Horford. They had fucking Williams. They had the other
everybody saying that is a positional need that Boston needs to win a championship? Why is everybody saying that? If you have all these players, why you can't win?
Exactly.
Why you can't get there? Why you get your ass kicked? Why you get your ass kicked by the Golden State Warriors the year before when Stephen Curry kicked your ass because y'all ain't had no guard to defend him? Y'all ain't had no guards to defend Klay Thompson. Please.
But Jaylen Brown's the 2 guard. He defend Klay, and it's not a lot of people in the league at all that can guard Curry. At all, so I'm like, and then as you said again, it's 5 people on the court. You need everybody to do their role. And it's like if you want to individualize, but
y'all making me seem like I'm saying that Marcus Smart is a bum. All I'm saying is they should have kept Tyrus Jones with Marcus Smart.
Nah.
That's all I'm saying. I think the team would have been a little bit better as a facilitator, and then Marcus Smart could do other things besides being the number 1 person pushing the ball up. That's all I'm saying. I never said, Memphis is Marcus Smart's not good for Memphis. I'm saying if you would have did the trade and kept Tyrus Jones with a Marcus Smart, we be having a different conversation.
But you making it seem like they lost out. make it seem like they lost out as if because they didn't keep Tyrus. Like they
lost out on guard. They lost out on guard play. That's all I'm saying. They lost out on guard play. Marcus Smart is not a true point guard. That's all I'm saying. He's not a true point guard.
Now I got to say this, okay? Boston, right, didn't lose because they didn't have a facilitator. Boston lost because they took a lot of fucking horrible 3-point shots. Don't act like you forgot. Don't act like you forgot.
Here come the excuses for Boston.
They did. They took a shit ton of 3-point shots. Come on, man. How many games were they under 30%?
Y'all making the mad excuses for Boston Celtics, man.
No.
They lost because they lost. Period. They lost because they lost.
They played like trash. They took a bunch of trash.
They lost because they lost. There's no way that you're gonna be. There's no way y'all cannot make no excuse how that team cannot win at home. How Boston cannot win at home. Period. How can you not win on your home floor? How you let a team come in here 4 times and beat you in a series? Come on, we're not gonna be. I'm not gonna sit here and hype up the Boston Celtics because they Kristaps Porzingis. You gotta win at home for me.
Oh yeah,
if you can't take care of home court, how you going to win in this league? You can't win in this league if if you can't win on your home court.
This is true. Like I said, I'm not debating any of that stuff. Like all that is 100% true. But like I said, to me, you making it sound like if they had a point guard instead of Marcus Smart, they could have won the championship.
I never said that. I said if you would have kept Tyrus Jones with a Marcus Smart.
I'm saying that's how you making it sound. That's why we're like, hold on.
I said this multiple times, though. I said if you would have kept Tyrus Jones with a Marcus Smart, we'll be having a different conversation. That's all I've been saying.
I mean, not really, because what's Jones gonna do? Sit on the bench?
No.
Who's he starting over?
Tyrus at the you could definitely make Marcus Smart a third at a small four because like y'all said. He could defend anybody on the floor. You could definitely make Marcus Smart a 3.
Yeah, I mean you could
definitely make Marcus Smart a 3.
When Ja comes back, I got Marcus Smart kind of being like a Dylan Brooks type of role. But until then,
a Dylan Brooks type of role,
like a older Dylan Brooks. He a shooter. He gonna play defense for him like Dylan Brooks.
Did you just say Dylan Brooks is a shooter? Where?
Listen. He said the role. He did not
what
say
role
play
did Dylan
like
Brooks
him.
play? He didn't play nothing. Dylan Brooks was. His name was not Dylan Brooks. It was Dylan Bricks. Please, Dylan Bricks.
Okay. No, you're right.
Dylan Bricks.
You got
Marcus
that.
Smart is a way better shooter. We can't put Marcus Smart and Dylan Brooks in the same comparison. You just can't. Not even in the role. Not even in the role.
No,
you can't do that either. You can't do that either. Dylan Brooks is overhyped. Marcus Smart is not an overhyped player. That's the difference. You can't say Marcus Smart is going to play the same role as Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks' role on the team is 3 and D. That was his role on the team. That's what Marcus Smart is going to be when Ja Morant comes back. 3 and D. That's what I'm saying.
3 and D. Marcus Smart could do more than just be 3 and D.
But that's what he's going to be doing. That's what he's going to be doing. He's going to be 3 and D. He might bring them some good.
What's the next trade? So I can do this real quick for I got you.
There's no other trade. We all know that Tyrus Jones going to Washington, Porzingis is going to Boston, and the draft picks basically.
So here's my whole thing, right? So what happened with the Chris Paul trade and all that?
Well, I don't know what's going on with the Chris Paul trade at this point. It has not really been nothing coming with the Chris Paul. But the Chris Paul, nobody said. I have not heard nothing since that trade actually happened.
I think they're just going to try to get the 8th round. They're just going to try to get it.
Are we going to do the first round tonight?
Yeah, we could do the first round today. What time does
that start?
It's at 8:00.
All right, I'll be there. I'll
but it's definitely. I could say Chris Paul to the Lakers, but we have not heard any talks about it, so I don't have any news on it when it comes to Chris Paul to the Lakers.
They trade the 8th pick?
Yeah, I mean, it's been rumors about the Lakers going to get, the 17th, trading that 17th overall pick. But I think this is what's going to happen with Chris Paul. He's going to buy out from the Wizards, and he's going to sign as a free agent to the Lakers. I don't think a trade is going to happen.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense.
So, yeah, CP3 is going to, if he wants to win now, the Lakers is the best chance for him. Honestly.
Jasmine said Jason Salem. She is funny as hell.
Said Jason Tatum what?
They called him. I think she been like trying to say Jason Salem. He be selling. Now man.
Oh, it's probably the autocorrect.
Oh, so
It's
we
probably the
did
autocorrect. And Bug, why we got your face up here look like a mugshot, bro? Like what's going on?
What happened?
Your screen is frozen, bro.
Oh shit! Hold on.
That joint's like a mad mugshot. I hope somebody take a screenshot of that, y'all. I hope somebody take a screenshot
I'm
of that.
good now.
Everybody just
Give him the Tyreek Hill mugshot.
Come on, man. No, they're not today.
You gotta find some other Wi-Fi, man. I don't know what's going on over there, man. I mean, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's on my end or not. But hey, Chris Middleton declines his $40 million option that becomes a free agent. Now we all know Chris Middleton has not been the same since he tore his ACL, and hopefully he's good now.
Yeah, it was good.
So he tore his ACL, and he has not really been the same since. He's been okay, but he hasn't been back to his all-star caliber.
Yeah.
Do he re-signs a smaller deal with Milwaukee, or he goes somewhere else? And if he does want to go somewhere else, where do you think it'll be a fit for Chris Middleton?
Ooh, see, that's where it comes nice at, because you got a bunch of contending teams that could use him. You got the Sacramento Kings, even the Miami Heat, depending on what they do with some of their free agents, because you got Oladipo and all them guys that are going to free agency. So it really depends. But me personally, I'd like to see him go over to the West Coast. I mean, you got plenty of teams that are definitely looking for shooters. And even and I'm gonna throw the wild card out there. LA Lakers. The LA Lakers could be in contention for him.
Do they have the money though?
I don't know. That's why I said it really depends what Chris Middleton wants to do. If he wants to go to a contending team, or if he wants to stay with Milwaukee, regardless, he's taking a pay cut. Wherever he goes, he's taking a pay cut.
I don't know if he's taking a pay cut no matter where he goes. I think if he go to a caliber team, like if you want to be like you said, the Sacramento Kings, the Lakers, and teams that's going to be in the playoffs. But if he, I don't know if he's going to. For me, he's not going to go to a bad team and take the bag. I don't think he's going to do that. But I think he takes lesser money and stays in Milwaukee. For me,
I mean, I can see him taking less money. You gotta think, like you said, he had an MCL sprain in the first round of the playoffs. He was forced to miss the remainder of the season.
This time.
Then he came back. He had an injury. He had to get a torn ligament repaired in his left wrist, and that's gonna keep him out. Kept him out 20 games. So, I mean, in the games he did play, he averaged 25 and 5. So, like I said, I want to see him go to Houston. Honestly, I think if Houston I'm going out on a limb here, but if Houston makes the moves to get James Harden there, I can see them trying to go get Middleton. I can see them trying to add Middleton in that mix. But if not, that just depends on how the draft goes tonight. But if not, then maybe LA. I think Philly could need him. We talking about moving on with Tobias. I had that in my notes. We think about moving on from Tobias and paying him all that money. That could have been a Middleton contract, easy. I would definitely take Middleton over Tobias.
The thing about this, how would this work with Tobias Harris still being under contract and Chris Middleton being a free agent? Now the Sixers are going to have to make some moves if they want to trade Tobias Harris, and I don't know how. It really depends on what team is going to pick up Tobias Harris' contract.
So
that's the tough part.
So my cousin, he stays in Cleveland. He kind of really be locked on in with the Cavs. He said they're thinking about Tobias. He said they was I think making some moves on Kelly Oubre, and they had some talks about Tobias too. So they might be thinking about him.
Oubre.
Yeah, I know. I know Detroit. Detroit was thinking about him. He already played there before, so they might be thinking to get a vet back. Get a vet in their locker room, which would be great for that team because they were super young. So that would be all right. And they kind of don't have that 3 position no more. No more Sadiq Bey. Him getting traded to Atlanta. So that. I thought
that was a bad move, bro.
No, that was bad. That was horrible. I
thought you should never give him Sadiq Bey.
That was terrible. And then you gave him to Atlanta. Like, that was like, that was terrible. That was a terrible trade. I don't know
Just
what he
imagine
was.
if Monty Williams had a chance to, try to coach Sadiq Bey. Just
Yeah.
imagine how that would have went with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. That and then now if you would have, the thing about it is now if you trade for Tobias Harris, you're gonna have to give up one of those young guys, and
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be tough.
yeah.
That's
I
gonna be
mean,
tough
but see, the
for
thing
Detroit.
is, I mean, which I can see, I can see Cade has kind of lived up. Ivy, they might give him, but Ivy is kind of not. He was iffy last year.
I
Think
mean,
about
wasn't that
that.
his rookie year, right? Or his second year?
Yeah,
I
but
think
he
he'll
was.
be. I think he'll be all right. I think you got a good coach in Monty Williams that could coach these guys up. Because if you look at it, when Devin Booker was in Phoenix, I mean, he was good. He wasn't being talked about because Phoenix wasn't winning. But when Monty got there, Devin Booker game elevated. So I mean, Monty Williams is a great coach. He know how to teach good players. So
And that's
I think he'll be good for that.
and that was actually in my notes too. They were saying that Philly is actually looking to move Tobias before the end of his contract next year. If they are gonna move him, they're trying to get him out now before, I guess,
I mean,
before he becomes.
help out with the cap.
Yeah,
Now it goes back to now if Chris Middleton goes to Philadelphia, but Jasmine said that she thinks that he might go to Golden State. The problem with Golden State is this: I would love to see them. I would love to see him go to Golden State, but
I
what
mean,
they're
but
going to do
Wiggins.
with the contract of Klay Thompson, that's going to be the issue there. And then are they willing to re-sign Draymond Green even though he opted out? Will he take less to stay there? So it's a lot of moving parts with the Golden State Warriors now with Jordan Poole and Draymond. They have not been the same since. It's a lot of things going on in Golden State. And then on top of that, Steve Kerr is on the last year of his contract. Are they going to give him an extension? So it's so much with Golden State. But RC Tark says that he says, I think Portland drafts Scoot Henderson tonight. Then maybe Dame decides to move on from Portland because of course, Scoot will become an immediate future. But is there any other teams out there that's a dark horse that could try to go after Chris Middleton in this free agency?
I mean, I don't want to say the Wizards, but
Mac, I'm happy that you left because you would have snapped right now. You would have snapped.
but nah, honestly, let's think, who has the money. So when I say dark horses, you thinking of teams, like I said, I think the Cavs, that's kind of the best fit I could think, and only because plugging him in with that team would make
With Donovan Mitchell and
that would
Darius
make
Garland.
that's all they've been missing. Like every time I argue with my cousin, like, and I can't lie, they've been trying to depend on Cedi Osman to step it up forever, but he just hasn't got it together. She's like, we just need a small forward. We just need a small forward. So I can see that.
I can see him taking less to go to Cleveland. I can see that.
Yeah. Who? Like I said,
I mean, this is a dark horse team that I have that
who?
a lot of people might not recognize, and pairing him up with Siakam in Toronto.
That wouldn't be bad. That
Pairing him
would
up with
not be
Siakam,
bad.
even though they coach is not a splash of a coach, but they signed their head coach internally. So he knows that team already. Even though Fred VanVleet is gone, you can still go out on the draft and go on the free agent and still get you a guard. And Chris Middleton, if Toronto has the money, he could get the bag in Toronto with Pascal Siakam. I think you got to think about the East too. Everybody's moving on to the West. The best players are going to the West. Toronto could really be a team that could probably slide into the playoffs. They've
been talking about. It's been some talks with them about moving OG Anunoby too, also. So that might
right,
be a
but
part.
I don't know if you go out and get a Chris Middleton. I don't think you move Anunoby.
OG, yeah, you keep all three of them. Him, Scotty, OG, and Pascal.
Yes. They just need a big man. They'll just need a big man for that. And you could get that in the draft. For real. You could get that in the draft. But I think that would be my dark horse team. Toronto will be good for Chris Middleton. I think that would be dope if you could keep Anunoby, Scotty, and Pascal. Yo.
I was just watching Scotty work on his jump shot, man. He getting it together. Oh, did you hear about the Dame news? So I want to break this because we've been talking about this. We've talked about the Dame trade, but we haven't really talked about this team. Dame saying that him and Mikal Bridges is homeboys, and that would be another option if the Miami thing, which obviously is not working out, but supposedly he said Brooklyn will be another
So
destination.
when did he say this though?
This was this morning. I seen Miami is going to be very anxious and watching what happens in Portland to see if Dame becomes available. Blazers have shut down anybody who has called for Dame. The Blazers have the number 3 pick and could flip it to acquire the star to pair with Dame. There's likelihood they still select a prospect, but if not, Brooklyn Nets also has one of the preferred destinations for Dame with Mikal Bridges. Him saying, quote unquote, "That's my dog," when asked about where else he would go besides the Heat.
So Brooklyn will have to give up a lot of shit again to get a Dame dollar. I'm just gonna be real with you. One thing about Brooklyn, they know how to give up a lot of picks. They know how to give up a lot of people. You know, with the Kyrie
Think about
Irving.
it though. I can't lie. If you think about what they did, if you look at their roster, I'll let you kind of look and maybe read it off. But they're already super deep with just role players. Like
Yeah, they are.
don't give they so even still they had to give away something. They would still have at least enough to pair around them. I feel like to make that a contending team in the East potentially. Because I mean they could just get if like you
I mean,
get
the
like
East
a
is pretty weak too, bro.
yeah, of course.
The East is pretty weak at this point, you know, because
Yeah.
everybody's going to the West, basically. So everybody's going to the West. Everybody wants to play against those Denver Nuggets, which is the reigning champion. So I get it. But the only question I had with this Brooklyn deal, if you could keep Cameron Johnson and bring Dame Dollar over, then that makes sense. But if Cameron Johnson walks in free agency and go to a different team, I mean, you losing a valuable player. I mean, he's not a and he's a valuable player that you know he could give you 17 and 10 with the length that he has. He could give you 17 to 20 points a night. Because you saw, even though that they got swept against the Philadelphia 76ers, they was in all those games. There was no games that they got blown out. They was in all those games. It's just that the second half, they just fell apart. So bringing a Dame over there to Brooklyn and playing with a young Mikal Bridges and you keep Cameron Johnson, that's a possibility. It's a possibility.
And I just had a draft rumor. The
You make
Hornets.
your final mock draft though?
Oh yeah, I got the 15 for you. Want me to run through them real quick?
Do you got you hold on? Is it just a mock draft with no trades? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, no, these no
No
trades.
trades. Okay.
No trades.
Cool.
Okay, so first round, of course, we got Victor going to the Spurs. I mean, first round, first pick, I got Victor going to the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Second, I got Brandon Miller going to Charlotte. Third, I got Scoot Henderson going to Portland. Fourth, I got Amen Thompson going to the Rockets. Fifth, I have I want to say the name right. Asur Thompson. I had printed out a pronunciation just for tonight, just to let y'all know. But I got Asur Thomas going to Detroit. Six, I got Anthony Black going to the Magic. Seventh, I got Jarris Walker going to the Pacers. Eight, I got Kobe Bumpkin going to the Washington Wizards. Nine, I got Cam Whitmore going to the Jazz. 10th, I have Taylor Hendricks going to Dallas. 11th, I got Derek Lively going to Orlando. 12th, I have Bilal Kuble going to OKC. 13th, I got Keontae George going to the Raptors. 14th, I got Grady Dick going to the Pelicans. And 15th, I got Jalen Hood Safrano going to Atlanta. So some of the ones I wanted to highlight was
keep that mock draft, and you go check off if you get them right.
Yeah, I think the only thing that might get is man Scoot, man. It's like because, but that's what I was finna drop just before you said that. Just this morning, it's coming out the Charlotte general manager yesterday said that they might still be looking to shop this second round pick. Might possibly still be looking to shop it. So hopefully they don't, but that's just like still up in the air. I just think Scoot. I don't know, man. If that
but it's been rumors that came out too, bro, that you know that Charlotte is in between Scoot and Brandon Miller at number 2. Yeah. So now we thought that on yesterday's show, we thought that it was declared definite that Brandon Miller will be going number 2, and then it comes out today that you know they stuck between Scoot and Brandon Miller.
I feel like Jordan put his extra sauce on it and talking to the media, and him actually, even when Brandon Miller, it's crazy. I was just watching before the show came
How
on,
he was talking about Michael Jordan?
and you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I feel like, and just like I said, in order for LaMelo Ball and Scoot to be at their top of their game, they have to have the ball in their hands. Brandon Miller already kind of has that in his game. You know, he already has an off-ball game. Scoot has that, but he's a guard. He a playmaker. He wants the ball in his hand. You know, like Brandon Miller come in and he even talked about that in his interviews, like off ball picks and run off screens, shooting threes. He's already kind of built for that. Scoot more, dribble setup off the pick and roll. I think Brandon Miller is a fit. If they don't get Brandon and they do get Scoot, it's really gonna change the game because then Portland's really trading. Portland really traded.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see a blockbuster trade happen at the number 3 pick. We'll definitely see that. D-Hop, where's your mock draft yet? I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all, man. I have not followed the prospects like that for the NBA draft. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have listen. Football is my first sport. I know the game basketball because I played it and I coached it, but football is my love. I can tell you everything about goddamn football when it comes to the draft and all that. But the NBA, like we said earlier in the week, like when it comes to this year's best prospects, I was not really intrigued with a lot of the prospects this year. I heard about Scoot, I heard about Brandon Miller, I heard about Victor, but after that, I really didn't hear anything else about all these other players because I really didn't watch college basketball this year.
And you gotta think a lot of these guys too, because they were talking about. I had wrote down. We will talk about that tonight. But my strengths and weaknesses of this draft in general, and a lot of like a guy was saying this on the podcast earlier. Like a lot of these overseas guys and G League guys, they're not scared no more. So versus like them D1 guys, you might like about Scoot. You see where Scoot coming from versus. And he second overall, or damn near, so
you know what? It could be another thing too, because all the other avenues that you have to get to the draft.
Yeah,
it's not just like you're going into college basketball, being a D1 player, and you got to come out of college. You get what I'm saying?
You don't really have to go to college route at all anymore. So
right, you can go to like go where Scoot with the team Ignite and stuff of that nature.
The
or
Twins with the overtime elite, it's a lot of different stuff now.
RC, I completely understand. Don't sleep on Amari Bailey and Tracy Jackson Davis.
Oh, Tracy Jackson Davis, man. We go just man, tune in tonight if you can. We'll talk about all that.
Definitely tune in tonight. We will be live for the NBA draft. That's gonna be very interesting to watch, y'all. Make sure y'all go do that right here on the Darion Hopkins Show. We definitely gonna be live for the NBA draft. But oh man,
let's get
how
into
does
it.
trade do now trading for Porzingis for Boston? Do they make this team better to win the East, or do you feel like they need? I still think they need a point guard. I'm gonna say that on point. I'm gonna still think they need a guard. Malcolm Brogdon probably not going to start. I just know that he was good coming off the bench, but we all know that he was a starter in this league.
They got paid.
Adding Porzingis, do you think that they are the best team in the East now, adding Porzingis to Boston?
Not non-biased, yes. Because you got to think, it's like you keep all your bigs and you add him, and so now you could do something like, oh, we're gonna run Porzingis and we're gonna run Robert Williams. You get what I'm saying? Or we go like now Al Horford gets.
So now Al Horford comes off the bench in this point.
You get what I'm saying? And you like that.
I get it.
It spreads the floor out. It's way more rebounds. So maybe that takes a little bit off Tatum and Brown. They can actually get some shots up now, even with them getting Marcus Smart out there. Like I said, when they were talking about that on the podcast this morning, they were saying like they're basically trying to space that out. And I guess they felt like him still they said one of them had to go. One of them was going point blank period. That's why they shot Brogdon first, and then Marcus ended up going. But one of them, it was either Brogdon or Smart. One of them were leaving regardless how it went. So I think they're just trying to space that floor out a little bit more. And well, like you said, Brogdon's gonna miss some time, but I feel like Brogdon, once he comes back, he's gonna fill that role well. He played great in the playoffs at that point.
Yeah, until he hurt his wrist.
Yeah. So I feel like when he comes back, that's gonna be exactly what they need to basically plug and play. You got Porzingis stretching the floor out for you, shooting the three, doing his thing, getting the rebounds, blocking shots. You got Robert Williams down there. He gonna block shots, get rebounds. Then you got subbed him out. What the only thing I can say now is, as far as their forward position, like they got them three bigs, but y'all don't have. If they don't get Grant back, then which everybody says Porzingis is signed, Grant's probably not gonna resign. But Grant, that forward position does kind of look a little iffy. But I mean, I guess you got them three big guys. You're not really worried about.
Yeah, I'm really looking to see what this starting five is going to look like. We already know the Porzingis, Jalen. If Jalen decides to stay or he opts out or whatever his contract, whatever the situation, if he stays, Jason Tatum, Jalen, and Porzingis. We all know Robert Williams might be that number 5. It's that number 4 that.
You get what I'm saying?
Have Porzingis play that 4. It could be that number 3. That could be.
Yeah.
So because Porzingis can be a stretch 4.
That's why
you can be a stretch 4. You put Robert Williams at the 5. Now, that spot that we're missing is Marcus Smart. Because Marcus Smart, if you look at it on his thing, they put him as a shooting guard / small forward because of how he plays on the floor. No. So.
And I definitely get you that aspect. Even earlier with the debate, I still see what you're saying. Like Marcus Smart is that player that he can play 3, and that's why when I said Dylan Brooks, I get what you say. You just like the comparison, but even when he can play that 3 position, you get what I'm saying. When Ja gets back, that's what that was another question I heard this morning was, would that be the lineup they can run with? Because it would be small when you got Ja, Desmond Bane. Are you gonna put Marcus Smart at the 3 now? Or are you going to bring him off the bench? So that was another question.
I don't think Marcus Smart is a bench player for Memphis, and going back to Boston. Now, who's going to be your small forward? That now, if you really have Porzingis and Robert Williams at your 4 and your 5, and Porzingis can be that stretch 4, who's going to be your third player on this roster? You're not going to put all 3 bigs in there. You're not going to have Al Horford, Porzingis, and Robert Williams in there. Absolutely not, because you started to get slow with Al Horford being in there. So now in free agency, you're going to have to go out and go get a small forward or find a point guard that can start in this league like a Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
Then you can move Jason to the 2.
Or what if they were going to get Chris Paul?
I mean, even a Chris Paul. But I'm saying you could put one of them at the 1, Tatum at the 2, Brown at the 3, Porzingis is your 4, and Robert Williams is your 5. I am set with that starting 5 right there. Because you could really make Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown your 2 or your 3. You can.
And then I like the way you called that too, because then you letting Brown basically bring the ball down, him setting the tone for the offense, which he should have been doing anyway for them. You get what I'm saying? And then you letting Tatum basically, even though he's big, but you put him at the 2 position, let him play the shooting guard, get his shots up and do what he does. So he kind of getting a natural flow. And you put Porzingis at that 4, stretch the floor out. Yeah, it's just that 3. That 3,
he averaged, mind you, from being a stretch 4 and playing down on the block, he still averaged 21 at that position. You know what I'm saying? So bringing in a Fred VanVleet or a Chris Paul to help out with that point guard position, then you can slide Jason Tatum over where he doesn't have to bring the ball up 90% of the time. Same thing for Jaylen Brown. He don't have to bring the ball up that much either. You can move without the basketball. You could have a little bit more fluidity in your offense with that point guard there. So that's why they still saying right now with Porzingis there, they still need a guard to facilitate. Just imagine if you put in Porzingis in a pick and roll with an actual point guard, with a VanVleet or a Chris Paul, bruh. The East, I think they take the East. If you have that 5, they take the East.
All right. How much time you got? You still want to do the football?
Oh yeah. We definitely got the time to do the football. Let me just pull it up real quickly because we were supposed to talk about it yesterday. It was the last topic.
Yeah, we've been missing that.
We didn't have much time. We didn't have much time to do it. So let me just pull it up real quick because I did have it in my notes. Just to let you know, a quick take about that too. That Chuck Clark is out for the season.
Oh,
he tore his
sir.
ACL with the New York Jets, and that's really tough for them because they really got him out in free agency from the Baltimore Ravens, and now You
Oh,
see,
Lakers traded up in the draft. They picked number 40 pick. I mean, they just traded up. They acquired a 40 pick from the Pacers for a 47 and some cash. I mean, which is
right,
not big, but a little something. They probably trying to put something together.
right. So, 10 teams that's facing the greatest burden of expectations in 2023. Meaning, like, this is an urgency meter at this point. It's an urgency meter for the NFL. Now you have 10 teams that it has an urgency meter between 1 and 10. And for me, I think 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go from the bottom to the top to go with the lowest urgency meter. And the first one is the Chicago Bears. Their urgency meter is at a 7.5. Even though they was 3-14 last season, you still have Justin Fields. You trade out the number 1 overall pick.
Go get DJ.
And you added talent across this defense. You added talent training for a DJ Moore. And I think the urgency meter is correct here at 7.5. I think they could win more games than 3. I think it's competition in the division now, knowing that Aaron Rodgers is no longer there with the Green Bay Packers. Detroit is a team that's being very competitive and start to play consistently. Minnesota Vikings defense is falling apart. We already know what they could do on offense. So Minnesota defense is falling apart. And then you got the Chicago Bears. I think they could. To me, I think they could win at least 7 games. They could win 7 games the way their schedule is set up. I think they could win 7 games. And Justin Fields has a future. His offensive line is going to be, his offensive line is going to be very interesting to watch this year. Can they protect them? So how you feel about that urgency meter at 7.5 for the Chicago Bears?
That's all right. Like I said, like you said already, they got a solid roster. They go get got my cam wasn't on. They go get DJ. They go get Jermaine Edmonds. They already had Jalen Johnson. I forgot who said their running back is now because they don't have Montgomery anymore.
Khalil Herbert.
Oh, they got Herbert back there. They still had that tight end last year.
Cole Kmet.
You got
Claypool, DJ Moore.
You got some. They should be like you said. I really give them more than 7. I say they might get 8. I get them 1 more. I say they might get 8. I said
okay. So the next one they have on the urgency is the New England Patriots here, and their urgency is at an 8.0. Now it says that nobody says the life after Tom Brady will be easy, but who said it would be this hard? In 2022, the season was a disaster by high standards of the Patriot way, quote unquote. 9 losses, including an all-timer and well publicized offensive dysfunction led to friction with the young quarterback and the coaching staff, of course, of having Matt Patricia be the offensive coordinator, and that's just weird. But they saying that Bill Belichick in his comments in the offseason creating the most surreal vibe around the most successful NFL organization of the century. Mac Jones is playing for his starting job this season. To me, I think he is. Bill Belichick could Belichick fired if the New England Patriots markedly don't improve? It's not crazy to think that they would. I don't think the New England Patriots is going to fire Bill Belichick. I don't see that happening. But for the team being widely picked for finish last in this division, is their urgency remains compellingly high. I think it's kind of high for an 8.0. If you look at this division for the AFC East, it's very, very tough as of right now. Aaron Rodgers coming over there. Buffalo Bills add additions to their defensive side of the ball. Miami Dolphins having their additions, especially, of course, your question if Tua is going to be what Tua is going to be. I think the urgency is a little bit too high. I mean, I understand it's the New England Patriots. They've been one of the most, respected franchises in the NFL. But you got to go through that rebuild stage. And I think an 8.0 is kind of high on them at this point.
I mean, I had the Patriots on my list. My biggest thing with them is their offensive identity. Like, their offense has no identity. Like,
it has no identity, and I think it will this year because of Bill O'Brien coming over from Alabama, knowing Mac Jones, And like I said, give DeAndre Hopkins the call.
But I guess they're giving them such a high rate because you had the multi tight end thing. You had Gesicki, Hunter Henry. You pick him up now. Like something just gotta give, bro. It's not like y'all haven't had threats. It's like they bring in Christian Gonzalez. I really like him, the cornerback from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
He's nice.
I think that was an underrated pick. I'm surprised
I
that
love
he fell
Gonzalez.
that far.
I love Gonzalez. So that is high. Okay, I can give you that. I go back on that. That's kind of high because
looking at the roster and looking at that division, you like.
Yeah, you get them. I give them next year. Now next year they should have it together. They should have it together next year. But I maybe
think the urgency
6 games.
The urgency probably stay there if they get DeAndre Hopkins. I think the urgency is there.
Oh yeah, it might go higher. It might go higher because that put pressure on Mac to really have to perform because yeah.
And I think Mac's going to perform this year. I really think so. I think Bill O'Brien is an offensive-minded coach that knows he coached in the NFL, even though he wasn't successful as a head coach, but he has been successful as an offensive coordinator. So, it's still too high for me. It's still too high. I think the urgency should at least be like a 7 or a 6 because you're in the rebuilding stage, So I think it's too high. I think it's too high. I think this is too low on the next one. The Dallas Cowboys, 8.3. I think it's too low. And I'm going to tell you why. You Cowboys fans is the reason why it's too low. You Cowboys fans, y'all say Super Bowl every year. Y'all went 12-5 last year. And you guys, what? But they lost in the divisional round. The Cowboys, too low at 8.3 because of your fans. I'm not saying because of a football standard. It's because of your fans. Your fans make your urgency higher than expected at a 8.3. It should be a 10 at this point, for real, just because of your fans. But to be on a humbling side, Jerry Jones, he needs to change. He needs to change this way of doing things. The man just turned 80 years old. He needs a true GM to help this team out. The defense. You got a competitive NFC East with the Philadelphia Eagles running the division at this point. Commanders is on the come up, so the Giants is definitely making moves as they can. But how you feel about this one? How you feel about the Dallas Cowboys being 8.3 as an urgency? You think it should be higher or lower? Look. I don't know where Bo just went.
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
But I think that's about right. You go get Brandon. You go get Stephon Gilmore. Who else they pick up? I think they picked up Mozzie Smith.
Yeah.
Like, you got Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard. I mean, not Tony. Well, yeah, Tony Pollard.
Yeah, Tony Pollard. Yep, but he's coming off an injury.
You got what's my boy name? CD Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all got all the pieces. How can you forget Michael Parsons? So it's just like, yeah. I'll give them about an 8.5. They got to come with it. They got to come with it.
So you giving them an 8.3?
I get them an 8.5. I get them an 8.5.
Ooh, so you putting them in the same category as this next team as the San Francisco 49ers. I don't think the San Francisco 49ers urgency should be higher.
I think lower, though, because the quarterback situation. I mean, yes, they have a great team.
Do it really matter?
I mean, but yes, because you keep seeing that they have this great team and that they just can't make it over the hump because of their quarterback. Like, that's the only team I really give that excuse of, like, they have the all-around best team, I think, just all around. They have weapons everywhere. Linemen, receivers, tight end, multiple running backs, DBs, linebackers. They just don't have a quarterback. Like, they don't lack at a spot but a quarterback. And it's like, at this point, that just has to be what doesn't get them over a hump. I feel like they would, even this year, it's like they kind of like doing a trial and error type thing. Like, are y'all going to try to trade Lance out? Are you going to throw Brock in there, give Brock a chance? And I give them I don't even want to say a 7, but I get them a 7. I mean, I think
the urgency is high because you went to the NFC Championship with a Mr. Irrelevant quarterback last season, and You was 1 win away from a Super Bowl, and you did go 13-4 last season. So for me, I think the urgency should at least be a 9 because the San Francisco 49ers
a
has
9?
been there. They have been there no matter who's the quarterback is at the position. They have been there. They've been there with an Alex Smith. They've been there with a Jimmy Garoppolo. They've been there with it's still kind of uncertainty with Trey Lance because you have not seen a lot from Trey Lance, but you got there with a Brock Purdy. Is Sam, Sam Darnold is another guy that's over there that could compete for this job depending on how he does in training camp. Mind you, Kyle Shanahan is a great coach. He knows how to get quarterback prepared. He knows how to, which quarterbacks need to be managed and what quarterbacks don't need to be managed. They have everything, and you're right. They have everything that you need, and you just need consistency out of a quarterback. Now, if Trey Lance cannot go this year, I think next year you move on from Trey Lance if you are the San Francisco 49ers. You move on from him. But if he does play well this year, I think you stay with Trey Lance at the quarterback. But he has to ball out in training camp and prove to Kyle Shanahan that he can stay healthy. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I think it should be a 9.0 because who's the quarterback up there, they still have the weapons, and Kyle Shanahan's going to put them in the best position to win at the quarterback position. He's going to help that team win. So I say a 9 just because of what they did last year with the team they had Brock Purdy, and it was one win away from the Super Bowl. 8.7 is the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, right.
Is that about right for you? I give them 8.4 a little bit. I still stay in the 8s, but I say 8.4. I wouldn't make it close to 9. But with the Miami Dolphins, I'm not gonna lie, they have some of the most talented players in the league. They do. Of course, the unstable state of Tua is the question, of course. And y'all did end up getting Mike White from the New York Jets that was in the division.
Mm-hmm.
So this AFC East is going to be tough. It's really going to be tough for all teams. I'm not saying for one particular team, for all teams. I don't know who's going to win this division. I just don't know. It's really up in the air to the games actually start to play. But you look at, they still investigating Tyreek Hill. I don't know why you're still investigating that whole situation. I don't get it. Jalen Waddle, you got him. I mean, y'all lost Gesicki to New England, but I think offensively y'all still good. If Tua can stay upright and doesn't get all these concussions and miss games, y'all will be fine. So that's why I say 8.4 as of right now as far as urgency, because y'all have to win the division for that urgency to be high.
Yeah.
And y'all went 9-8 last year. I can see y'all winning. I can see y'all winning 2 more games. I see y'all winning 11 games. 11, 12, 11, possibly 11 games. If Tua can stay healthy. Because, I mean, Mike White is not a bad backup. Let's just throw that out there. He's not a bad backup. So, I'm kind of surprised at this one, but I can understand why. The Cleveland Browns is a 9.0. And I can understand. I don't want to disagree with it, but I understand why, because you have a full-time Deshaun Watson now.
You had one of the best running backs in the league for the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Like you got and Njoku is not a scrub. You got 2 studs on your line.
Amari Cooper is your number 1 receiver.
You get what I'm saying? You go get Myles Garrett, one of the best pass rushers in the league. I mean, I know Denzel Ward hasn't been super great, but he's not bad. Martin Emerson, I got him as one of my breakout players next year. I mean, this year coming up, he's a great player. You got they definitely need to get together. Deion Jones, bro, they've had teams after team after team, but it's like their whole excuse been okay. Last year they had to have Jacoby Brissett play, and then Deshaun Watson came back, played horrible, whatever. But
now you have a full mini camp, you have a full OTA, you have training camp, and then you have the preseason for him to be prepared to get back to the Deshaun Watson we saw in Houston. And I think they went out and I think for me, I think they should bring back Kareem Hunt. That's just me. I think they should bring back Kareem Hunt, but I don't think they are.
The funny thing, man, it might be a Houston curse, man, because he kind of sounds like James Harden to me. Like, is he ever going to be that same player he was in Houston?
I think he would be. I think, mind you, he's younger than Harden too.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, not for sure. But I'm just saying, is he ever going to be that? gunslinger. You get what I'm saying? Like, is he ever? I mean, I
He
don't
has a
know.
full year. Mind you, when he got that suspension, he had to be away from the team.
Oh, so
Like
he
he
couldn't work
did
out
play in
practice.
some preseason games, but he didn't play in all the preseason games. But I think now you have a full year with Deshaun Watson. And I think he can be that. But I was kind of surprised to see him at a 9.0 over the San Francisco 49ers. I was really surprised over that.
But then I told you the quarterback situation. Like, that's why I feel like y'all have a good quarterback. Y'all supposed to have a star quarterback within him too. So it's like, you know, they have no. They really still didn't have a reason these last couple years, but whatever. So now y'all have a good quarterback. Y'all need to win. Let's see if y'all can exceed expectations.
So for me, I can say this. I think this is actually at a standstill right here for this next team, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals at a 9.4. I think the urgency is right there on the line. I think, or you can just put 9.5 up there just to say it. I think so. But they did lose a lot of players on defense. That's
I
one thing
mean,
I
but
can
they
say about
suited that.
Cincinnati.
They go pick up Orlando Brown.
Yeah,
Like,
offensively they're good, but they lost Jesse Bates, their
yeah, they lost
safety.
Jesse. I mean, but Jesse was on the way out either way. Like,
Yeah, he
that
was on
was,
the way out, but
yeah.
I get it. I get it, but they still lost a lot of defensive players on that side of the ball.
I mean, you still got Cheetah Bay. They still got who Trey Hendricks.
Yeah,
You know, they
I'm just talking about as far as they secondary go.
oh no, they secondary definitely
They
lost.
secondary because you had a few players that went to Atlanta. You went a few players that went to other teams. I don't remember where they went, but I know a lot of I heard a lot of Cincinnati Bengals players, defensive players, going to different teams in free agency, and Cincinnati didn't bring them back. But we all know what Joe Burrow could do. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. We know what them boys could do on the offensive side of the ball. It's just the defensive side for me. But it's right though. 9.4, you definitely right there. We got three more teams and we should be done here. Yep, three more teams. And we have 9.6, the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, their urgency is a 9.6. They have to be they went 14-3 last year. Of course, the urgency is there to keep the consistency going with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Then especially with the stuff they picked up in the draft, it's like,
Yeah,
bro.
they looking like the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
That's what I wanted to call. That's when you first said something like, you mean the Georgia Eagles?
Yeah, the Georgia Eagles or the Philadelphia Bulldogs, one of them, because the way they draft, they love their Georgia players, man. And you getting a healthy Jordan Davis back on that defensive line with Fletcher Cox. Now you added, DeAndre
Nova
Carter.
Smith. Oh
One
my
thing that's
God.
concerned about me with the Philadelphia Eagles is they linebacking core. You lose TJ Edwards in free agency. You lose Kaiser White in free agency. So it's going to be tough for them to find linebackers. I think if the Eagles got money and Miles Jack is still out there, I think you go get a Miles Jack.
I think Gardner was a big loss for them too, man.
Yeah, Gardner Johnson left. Marcus Epps, the safety, went to my Raiders, left. They lost a lot of defensive players on that side. So, I mean, it was good to get Darius Slay and Bradbury back, but that slot corner and Gardner Johnson, that's going to be a tough one to fill, to him and Marcus Epps. And that's another thing too. I was getting to that. The whole coaching staff, they lost their defense and their offensive coordinator. So let's see how Nick Sirianni could do this and bounce back. So it's a lot of questions there for Philly. But at a 9.6, the urgency is there. If you went to the Super Bowl last year, it should be nothing under that. You should at least be able to go back to the Super Bowl at this point. Here we go. We got to talk about this team again. The New York Jets is at a 9.8. The New York Jets is at a 9.8. And I get it. Aaron Rodgers is there now. Of course, the urgency for them to win right now, it has to be, because we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be a one and done, bro. We don't know. They went out and got all these weapons. And we just heard that Chuck Clark tore his ACL, so that's another safety that's down.
Tough.
So, a 9.8, do you think that's a little bit too high for the New York Jets, man?
Nah. I mean, they got Danny Dimes. They got Danny Dimes. You went
No,
all
the
the way
Jets,
back.
not the Giants. The Jets.
Oh, the Jets. Oh, nah. No, I don't really get them no slack either. No, they know. See, this is what we're not gonna do. Everybody not gonna be. Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. He get here. He got a wish list. He get his wish list. He get all the players he want. He got sauce. He got a hell of a defense. He got an O line. He got a running back. Even though his running back is coming back off an injury, but still though, nah. I would get him like an 8.7, maybe. Y'all take it down.
I think they shouldn't be as high as that over the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, but at the same time too, because then you're talking about Rodgers, like he has to win. You know, like he has to win. I'm sorry, like I know people don't look at it like a win now. He got to go to the Super Bowl, but he has to win. Like, and I doubt I don't think he's winning the division, but you know, I just feel like he has to win.
Shout out to my boy.
You got everything you wanted, man. Like everything you wanted.
Shout out to my boy B-Town Breakdown with the 199 super chat. He said thoughts on Celtics trading Smart for KP.
Man, we went in on this earlier.
Shout out to B-Town Breakdown with that. So we have to answer that since that is a super chat that he definitely sent us. We're gonna get back into the next couple of teams though, but I mean, like we said earlier, like if Porzingis could play that stretch 4, and you go get a point guard, you move Jaylen Brown to the 3, you move Jason Tatum to the 2, and Robert Williams at the 5, and you go get you a smart point guard, the Boston Celtics will be fine. I understand the toughness and the grit that you lose out of Marcus Smart. Yeah, I understand that. You lose that motivator in the locker room that will call you out at the same time. You lose that in Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart going to Memphis. Like I said before, I feel like if Memphis can find themselves a point guard to go along with a Marcus Smart, they will be fine. They'll be fine. That's all I'm saying. Marcus Smart would kick John Morant's ass. You know what? I'm not going to get into that comment about Anthony Price. I'm just not, bro. But Marcus Smart, he's going to bring toughness to Memphis. He's going if he got to throw motherfuckers under the bus, that's what he's just going to do. He's going to throw people under the bus. Like, listen, you got to do your goddamn job. That's one thing about Marcus Smart. He's like the coach on the basketball court, basically. And I just think right now the need, if I'm the Memphis Grizzlies, I'm going to get a guard in the draft. Because you got Brandon Clark, you got Adams, and you got Jared Jackson. You don't need a big man. You need a guard. So I think they go out and get a guard in this draft. But I don't know who won this trade. For me, Boston won the trade at this point. Boston won the trade at this point.
Yeah, Celtics. You kept both of your big man. I mean, you got to think, man, like, yeah, they lose out on Marcus Smart, and you know how I feel about that. But at the end of the day, like that big man antidote, that 2 big man rotation, literally helped them win that series against us last year.
Right.
So when you think about keeping those same 2 guys and adding a Porzingis, who's the healthiest he ever been in the last 6 years, I just feel like you can't beat that. Like you can't beat that. He's the healthiest he's been in the last 6 years, bro. Like. And he's gonna bring that same thing. Al's gonna bring you stretch the floor, a little bit more athletic. You pair him with Robert Williams. Now you let Al get the minutes. He don't have to. He's old.
You put Al Horford on the bench and had him play in the second unit.
Yeah, it did. So now that becomes a whole different beast. A guy that was just starting last year, leading the team in scoring in some of these playoff games. Like it makes it. I think Boston won, but I don't feel like the Grizzlies lost though. I don't feel like the Grizzlies lost the trade.
Grizzlies didn't lose. I just feel like now it's for you to go in the draft and get you a guard until John Morant comes back.
Yeah.
You still need depth at the guard position because even though, like I said, Tyrese Jones was valuable to them coming off the bench when John Morant was there. Now you don't have no real guard at the 6-man position right now for Memphis. So I think they could go get a guard in the draft. And then you could still, when John Morant comes back, then you could put John Morant and Marcus Smart in there. That's all I was really saying. Like, as of right now, for the first 25 games, it's going to be a concerning for me because the guard play is going to be tough on the Memphis Grizzlies because they don't really have anything. And then do you really want to play a rookie right now in the NBA? So it's going to be really tough. Marcus Smart would get John Morant and line watch. You know what, man? But thank you for the $2 super chat, bro. I really do appreciate that. Shout out to B-Town Breakdown. That's one of the guys that covers all Boston sports, from New England to the Bruins to the Celtics to the Red Sox. He does all Boston sports. So make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to his channel over there when he does go live as well. But the number one team that they have as an urgency as a number 10 is the Buffalo Bills.
I can't even really say nothing about the Bills. I mean, best.
I don't know. All the recent drama with Stephon Diggs. I mean, is it because they didn't go after D-Hop to go along with Stephon Diggs? Because that's the one thing about the Buffalo Bills. They always had an okay number 2. They never had a number 2 that could really be impactful so he won't get the double teams. You know, so
Stephon Gabe Davis wasn't bad.
He was all right, but I don't think he's a number.
He's a number 2. Come on now.
I don't think he's a number 2 for Buffalo, but he's not a number 2 in the league. He's a number 2 for Buffalo. But I just feel like they still try to gravitate towards Stephon Diggs a little bit more. But Buffalo Bills being the urgency at number 10, they got to win a division. They got to go to the AFC Championship. But it's going to be hard to win this division because, mind you, the Patriots was on this list. The Jets was on this list. The Bills was on this list. And the Jets was on this list. So Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Bills. All 4 teams in this division was on the urgency list. All 4. So that's telling me the question is the AFC East the best division in football on paper right now? I say so. I say even though the AFC West is just as competitive, I could definitely say the AFC West and the AFC East are one of the 2 compelling divisions that you have to watch in this year's in this year's NFL season. I got a question for everybody in the chat, and I got a question for Bug at this point. Can Baker Mayfield do what Geno Smith did last year? Can he be the next Geno Smith and revive his career as a starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I would love to hear your thoughts on this one.
This is his time to, believe it or not.
You think it's his time? So you think it's his time to?
I mean, yeah. When you go to the Bucs, you got most of the threats you need. You don't come to a terrible O-line. You know, it's kind of like a fresh start for Baker. You get what I'm saying? It's a fresh start for him, and just to give him that time, like you kind of just got through into the Rams situation. That wasn't really, that don't really count. So the Bucs, I just feel like he's coming to a team that's not bad. Is no bad blood with the coaching. It's a system that I feel like it might work for him. I'm not sure who's the OC over there, but
I thought it was Byron Leftwich.
I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It might be, but
I thought Byron Leftwich was still there. But for me, I feel like Baker Mayfield. I think he won't be the next Geno Smith as far as like. I can't say the next Geno Smith. In the same token, it's like I want to say that because of the weapons that Baker Mayfield has in Tampa Bay offensively, and he has a good defense over there. The question is he focusing on his mechanics? Is he focusing on his progressions? Is he panicking when the pocket kind of collapses where he gets nervous?
That panicking, man, Baker Mayfield. That's okay. You hit it on the head because I think that's one of his biggest flaws watching him play. Is he definitely panics when that pocket starts to break down. It's like he don't know what to do. But I mean, think about who just left from over there. Not saying like Tom is any type of involved, but I'm pretty sure with Tom just leaving from there, they have an idea of of what they want to do, and I'm pretty sure with him being that old, I'm pretty sure he was putting them on game just as much as they were helping him out. So I'm pretty sure he's coming to a good locker room of coaches to be able to work with his mechanics and get it together. He done had a good whole season.
Oh, Dave Canales is the new OC. It's not Byron Leftwich no more.
Oh, David Canales. Okay. Oh, Dave Canales. So it's not Byron. So I never heard of him. I'm not really sure. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Depending on what system too, like Bake might flourish. He might flourish.
I just gotta see how it's going to work out. How what connection he's going to have with Mike Evans? Because remember, we've been on shows multiple times about Mike Evans being on the move.
Yeah.
And I just literally just talked about that, Anthony Price, saying Baker is going to make Mike Evans leave Tampa Bay. LOL. And telling you, if Baker Mayfield do not play up to his potential, if he doesn't, I'm telling you right now, Mike Evans is going to one out.
But I mean, can Mike Evans really flex like that? Like, bro, you just coming back off an injury. When the last time have you played to your top potential anyway?
But Mike Evans, he played all 18 games last season, and his stats wasn't bad. I think he made a Pro Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't know. Last year,
Mike Evans' stats was really, really good last year. Yeah, in 2022, he had 77 receptions, 1,124. He had 1,100 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns on 77 receptions.
He wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. I guess he's just unhealthy. But
if you look at it since 2014, and they have the stats here, since 2014, he has 10,425 receiving yards with 683 receptions and 81 touchdowns since 2014. 2014, he had 1,051. 2015, 1,200. 2016, 1,300. 2017, just a little bit over 1,000. 2018, 1,500. 2019, 1,100. Every year since 2014, he had 1,000 yards receiving. Every year. It doesn't matter who the quarterback was. That's crazy.
no, every year though.
Every year since 2014, he had over 1,000 yards receiving. And the most that he had in a season was 2021 with 14 touchdowns.
No, that's crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When it comes to their quarterback, it makes them irrelevant, and Mike Evans still put up the numbers and he gets overlooked. So Baker Mayfield I think Baker Mayfield could get him over another 1,000-yard receiving. But I think Mike Evans wants to win. I think he's at a point where he wants to win. Because if you look at the numbers, he's productive. And since 2014, in his career stats, he's averaging 15.3 yards an average per catch. That's the average. The most that he had in a season was 17 and a half per catch for Mike Evans. And that was in 2019. That's crazy to me. But he's in double digits in average per catch. He's in double digits. There's nothing lower than 13 when it comes to average per catch for Mike Evans. So Baker Mayfield, you got to make the best out of this, bruh. Because if Geno Smith could do it with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, you got to do it with Chris Goodwin or Chris Guy, whatever his name is, and Mike Evans. You got to do it with those two. That's just me. That's just me. But you spend so much time on that debate with Marcus Smart. We have to end the show, man. So the next 2 topics for the NFL, they're gonna be the top of the topics. Because I'm waiting to see those 100 players by CBS. I really want to see that. And I think if we keep going on with this topic, we will be over the 2 hour mark. So
because Jalen Ramsey gonna be on there, right?
Yeah, that's going to be on there tomorrow. That's going to be the first topic tomorrow for the first 100 players. I mean, the top 100 players in 2023 for the NFL. Definitely going to be the first topic tomorrow. Outside of the NBA draft recap, we're going to get into that. We're only going to do the first round tonight, and we'll keep you updated on social media for the second round. You're only going to do the first round tonight because the NBA draft is very, very long. I don't have all night to be on here. So me and the crew is going to be on here tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Darion Hopkins Sports Show. Anything else before we head out of here, bruh? You muted.
I said, no, I'm just ready for the draft tonight. See what's going to go on. Hopefully, I just want to see the blockbuster trades. I'm excited about some picks, and it's crazy because the picks I'm excited about are, besides Scoot and seeing what Scoot is going to do, I'm really excited about like a later the picks like Grady Dick and like bro said about earlier, Tracy Davis, like just seeing kind of where some of those guys going to go. So just getting excited, man, for the night, man, really.
All right, so absolutely, we'll definitely be in the building tonight. So make sure y'all tune in to that. We all can finally see us actually talk about the NBA draft. No more rumors. No more nothing. No more nothing. It all goes down tonight, y'all. So make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, which is the Darion Hopkins Show here. Make sure you check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Follow us on social media at Hopkins Show on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Bug will definitely give you all the updates on the Instagram side. Everything he does on the Instagram side will be on the Facebook side as well. So make sure y'all share all the news that's coming out. We definitely need more engagement on the Facebook side of the Darion Hopkins Show. So if y'all see any news come out and we post it, make sure you comment, like, do it, share it, do whatever we need to do on that part as far as the Facebook side. But make sure y'all check out the D-Hop Nation t-shirts. There, I have a new logo coming out for that, so make sure y'all go check that out as well. Comment, like, and subscribe. We out of here, y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace. And the time will be changing next week, so make sure y'all keep a lookout for that. So I'll see y'all later, and I'll see y'all tonight, y'all, 8 o'clock. Peace out.
All right, peace.